I'm flat on my back under my Ford F-150, wrestling with a rusted exhaust bracket, when I hear Claire's phone buzz on the workbench above me. Once, twice, 3 times in rapid succession, that desperate, insistent rhythm that says someone's waiting for an answer they need right now. "Can you check that?" Claire calls from inside the house, her voice floating through the open garage door. I slide out, wipe my hands on an already filthy rag, and glance at the screen. The preview shows enough. "Tonight can't come fast enough. You're the only real thing in my life. Mason." My stomach drops like I've missed a step in the dark. I stand there, grease under my nails, staring at those words while my brain tries to catch up with what my eyes are seeing. The only real thing, not a real thing, the real thing. I'm apparently not even real anymore. "Well?" Claire appears in the doorway, backlit by the kitchen light, looking irritated. She's wearing the new designer jeans I definitely don't remember her buying, paired with a silk blouse that's way too fancy for a Tuesday night at home. "Just spam," I say, setting the phone down carefully, like it might explode, which in a way, it just did. "I'm heading out in 20, she says, already turning away. "Girls' night, don't wait up." Girls' night, 3rd one this week. I do the math silently. That's 12 girls' nights this month. Either Claire's developed the social life of a college freshman, or I'm the biggest idiot in our zip code. Probably both. "Where are you going?" I ask, trying to sound casual, like a husband who isn't currently having an out-of-body experience in his own garage. "The usual place, that wine bar downtown." She's not even looking at me, focused on her reflection in the hallway mirror, adjusting her hair. "Why?" "Just asking." "Well, don't. I'm 32 years old, Alex. I don't need permission to have a life." There it is, that edge in her voice that's become as familiar as her perfume, sharper than it used to be, colder. Like I'm an inconvenience she's learned to tolerate rather than the guy she once couldn't wait to come home to. I watch her leave, her expensive perfume lingering in the garage long after her BMW pulls out of the driveway. Then I pick up her phone, password still our anniversary date, because apparently I'm not even worth the effort of changing it, and start reading. The messages go back 3 months. 3 months of baby and can't wait to see you, and he doesn't understand me like you do. 3 months of my wife building an entire alternate life while I've been under trucks and fixing broken appliances and planning our 10th anniversary trip like a complete fool. Mason. Mason Garrett. I know the name. He's the regional sales manager at Claire's PR firm, the guy who showed up at our Christmas party last year with a Rolex and a smile that belonged on a shark. Mid-30s, divorced, drives a BMW X5 that probably costs more than my annual income. The kind of guy who calls everyone chief and thinks volume equals authority. I sit down on my workbench, still holding her phone, and laugh. It's not a happy sound. It's the kind of laugh that escapes when you realize you've been living in a movie and didn't know it. One of those films where everyone's in on the joke except the protagonist. The protagonist. That's me. Alex Morrison, 35, owner of Morrison Repairs, the guy who fixes what's broken for a living. The irony isn't lost on me. My phone rings, my actual phone. It's Jules, my boxing coach, and the closest thing I have to a best friend these days. "You coming to the gym tonight or what?" His gravelly ex-cop voice cuts through my spiral. "Yeah," I hear myself say. "Yeah, I need to hit something." That's the spirit. See you at 8. I look around my garage, at the half-finished renovation projects, the tools I've collected over 15 years of marriage, the life I've been building while Claire's been busy building something else entirely. The walls are still the primer gray I painted them 6 months ago, waiting for Claire to decide on a color scheme. She never did decide. Maybe because she was never planning to stay long enough for it to matter. I should confront her. That's what a normal person would do, right? Come home, throw the evidence in her face, demand an explanation, cry, yell, maybe throw something. But I don't feel normal. I feel cold, calculated, like someone just flipped a switch in my brain from devoted husband to something else entirely. Something that sees this situation not as a tragedy, but as a problem requiring a solution. Claire wanted excitement, an adventure, someone who makes her feel alive. Fine, I can give her excitement, just not the kind she's expecting. The boxing gym smells like sweat, leather, and the kind of honest work that doesn't lie to you. Jules is waiting by the heavy bag, arms crossed, taking one look at my face and nodding like he's solved an equation. "Woman trouble," he says. Not a question. "How'd you know?" "You've got that look. Seen it 1,000 times in my cop days. Guy walks in, jaw tight, eyes distant, hands already curled into fists. Woman trouble or money trouble, and you're not the money trouble type." I wrap my hands in silence, pulling the tape tight enough to hurt. Jules doesn't push. That's what I like about him. Ex-cop or not, he knows when to wait. "Claire's cheating," I finally say, testing how the words sound out loud. They sound worse than they did in my head. "You sure?" 3 months worth of texts. Some guy from her office. Mason. Jules makes a disgusted sound. Office affairs. Classic. They're the worst because they're convenient. "How'd you find out?" "She left her phone in the garage. Password's still our anniversary." Damn. He shakes his head. She's not even trying to hide it well. That's disrespect on top of betrayal. What are you gonna do? "I don't know yet." That's a lie. I'm already planning. Already thinking 3 moves ahead like Jules taught me in the ring. Don't react, anticipate. Don't swing wild, set up your combinations. Make your opponent think they're winning right up until they're not. "Whatever you do," Jules says, holding the bag steady as I start working, "don't do anything stupid. Don't hit him. Don't threaten her. Don't give her ammunition for a divorce where she comes out the victim." "I'm not going to hit him," I say between jabs. "I'm going to be smarter than that." "Good. Smart revenge is the only kind that works. You want to make them hurt? Make them look stupid. Make them lose things that matter. Make everyone see who they really are." I work the bag for 90 minutes, until my arms are rubber and my mind is clear. By the time I leave, I have the beginnings of a plan. Claire comes home at 1:30 in the morning, reeking of wine and men's cologne. I'm on the couch, pretending to be asleep in front of a muted TV. She doesn't even check on me, just heads straight to the bedroom. The next morning, I make breakfast. Eggs, bacon, toast, the full spread, like nothing's wrong. Claire comes down in her robe, surprised. "What's this?" "Breakfast. Thought we could eat together before work." She eyes me suspiciously, like I've just offered her poison. "I usually just grab coffee." "I know, but I realized something last night. You're right. You said marriage doesn't mean you're my top priority, and I've been thinking about that. You're absolutely right." She sits down slowly, still wary. "Okay. I've been putting all my energy into us, into this house, into trying to make you happy. But you've got your own life, your own priorities. So I'm going to do the same. Focus on me for a while, hit the gym more, hang out with friends, maybe take that motorcycle trip I've been talking about." I can see her processing this, trying to figure out the angle. "You're not mad?" "Why would I be mad? You're living your life. I should live mine." I smile, and it feels like the most honest expression I've made in months. "We're married adults, not conjoined twins." She actually looks relieved. "I'm glad you understand. I was worried you'd be clingy about it." Clingy. That's what she thinks. That the man she married, the one who's been holding this household together while she plays out her midlife crisis, is clingy for expecting basic respect. "Not at all," I say. "In fact, I think this is healthy. You do your thing, I'll do mine." She leaves for work actually smiling, probably already texting Mason about how she successfully trained her husband to accept his new role as the guy who pays half the mortgage while she has her fun. What she doesn't know is that I've just declared war, A quiet war, the kind where she won't even know she's losing until it's far too late. I start small. I change the Wi-Fi password and don't tell her. I watch her frustration mount as she can't connect, has to use her phone data, can't video chat as easily with Mason from the house. When she asks, I play dumb. Oh, I thought I told you. It's written on the router. It's not written on the router. I stop doing her laundry. Not in an obvious way, I still do mine, just not hers. When she complains about running out of clean clothes, I smile and say, "You're right. We should each handle our own stuff. More independent that way." I cancel the joint credit card I'd been paying off, the one she uses for her girls' nights and new wardrobe. When she tries to use it at dinner with Mason, I'm tracking the statements. It declines. I can only imagine his face. But the real move, the one I'm most proud of, comes from our neighbor, Mrs. Patterson. She's 70, lives alone, and sees everything from her porch. I've been fixing her appliances for free for years. She loves me. She thinks Claire is too fancy for her own good. I'm fixing her dishwasher when I mention, casually, "Mrs. Patterson, I'm worried about Claire. She's been working such late hours. I think her boss might be taking advantage." "That's terrible, dear." "I know. And between you and me, I think there might be something inappropriate going on at that office. I don't want to spread rumors, but, well, you understand." Mrs. Patterson understands perfectly. By the end of the week, half the neighborhood has heard that Claire's having an affair with her boss. It's not quite accurate. Mason's not her boss, but it's close enough. The whispers start, the looks, the way conversations stop when Claire walks by. She notices. Of course she notices. "People have been acting weird," she says one night, picking at her takeout. "We don't cook together anymore. We barely eat together." Mrs. Patterson actually glared at me today. "That's strange," I say, not looking up from my phone. "Maybe she's having a bad day." "It's not just her, it's everyone. Linda from book club hasn't returned my texts. Sarah made an excuse not to meet for coffee." "Huh," I shrug. "Maybe they're just busy." She stares at me, and for a moment I think she's going to figure it out. But she doesn't. She's too wrapped up in her own drama to see mine unfolding. "I'm going to bed," she says. "Okay, I'm going to stay up a while." She pauses at the stairs. "Alex? Yeah? Are we okay?" I look at her. Really look at her. At the woman I married, who's become someone I don't recognize. Someone who lies as easily as breathing, who thinks I'm too stupid to notice, who's probably in love with a man who calls people chief. "We're exactly what we made ourselves," I say. She doesn't know what to do with that answer, so she goes to bed. I stay up, planning my next moves. Jules was right. Smart revenge is the only kind that works, and I'm just getting started. 3 weeks into my new strategy, Claire's starting to crack. The social isolation is getting to her. Turns out, when you're the neighborhood scandal, girls' nights become a lot less fun. Her friends are distancing themselves, not wanting to be associated with the drama. Even Paula, her best friend from work, has been too busy to meet up. I'm at the gym when Jules pulls me aside after sparring. "You're smiling more lately. Should I be worried?" "Just following your advice, being smart about things." "What have you done?" I tell him about the credit card, the Wi-Fi, the strategic conversation with Mrs. Patterson. He laughs, a deep, genuine laugh that echoes through the gym. "You're a natural at this. Ever think about becoming a detective?" "I fix toilets for a living, Jules. I'm not exactly detective material. Best detectives I knew were plumbers and electricians. You learn to trace problems back to their source. Same skill set." He hands me a water bottle. "But be careful. When people feel cornered, they get dangerous. Unpredictable." She's not dangerous. She's just selfish. Selfish people are the most dangerous kind. They'll do anything to protect their comfort. He's right, of course, but I'm too deep in the satisfaction of watching my plan work to care about the risks. That night, I follow Claire. Not in a creepy, stalking way. I just happen to leave the gym at the same time she's supposedly at her wine bar, and I just happen to drive past Mason's apartment complex. A modern, expensive building downtown with a doorman and valet parking. Very Mason. Claire's BMW is in the garage. I park across the street and wait. They emerge 2 hours later, and seeing them together in person is different than reading texts. She's laughing at something he said, touching his arm, looking up at him the way she used to look at me. He's got his hand on her lower back, possessive and casual, like she belongs to him. Something cold settles in my chest. Not jealousy. I'm past that. It's more like confirmation, like watching a suspicion become fact, and knowing that fact changes everything. I take photos, lots of them. Then I drive home and get there before she does, pretend I've been there all evening. She comes in at midnight, smelling like his cologne, and finds me reading in the living room. "Good night?" I ask. "Fine, the usual." She won't meet my eyes. "That's good. I'm glad you're having fun." She stops halfway up the stairs. "Why are you being like this?" "Like what?" "So agreeable, so distant. It's weird." I set down my book and look at her. Really look at her, and let her see something in my expression that makes her uncomfortable. "You told me marriage doesn't mean you're my top priority. I'm just respecting your wishes. Isn't that what you wanted?" "I didn't mean—" She stops, realizing she's about to admit something. "Never mind. I'm tired. Sleep well." She practically runs up the stairs. I go back to my book, but I'm not reading. I'm thinking about the next phase. The next morning, I print the photos. Not all of them, just the clearest ones. Claire and Mason leaving his apartment building. Claire and Mason at a restaurant I know she told me she'd never been to. Claire and Mason in his car, her hand on his thigh. I don't do anything with them yet. I just put them in an envelope and leave them in my truck. Insurance. Then I go to work. I've got 3 jobs today: a broken water heater, a backed-up drain, and a garbage disposal that sounds like it's grinding rocks. Honest work. The kind where you can see the problem, fix it, and know you've made something better. Unlike my marriage. My phone rings around noon. It's a number I don't recognize. "Is this Alex Morrison?" "Speaking." "This is Derek Chen from Hartwell and Associates," Claire's firm. "I'm the HR director. I was hoping we could have a conversation about your wife." My heart rate kicks up, but I keep my voice steady. "What about her?" "It's a sensitive matter." "Would you be able to come by the office today? Say, 4 o'clock? Can you tell me what this is about?" "I'd prefer to discuss it in person. It concerns some irregularities we've noticed." Irregularities. That's an interesting word. "I'll be there," I say. Hartwell and Associates occupies 3 floors of a downtown high-rise, all glass and steel and the kind of modern art that costs more than my truck. The receptionist directs me to the 14th floor, where Derek Chen meets me in a conference room that overlooks the city. He's younger than I expected, maybe 40, with the tired eyes of someone who's seen too much office drama. He shakes my hand and gestures to a chair. "Thank you for coming, Mr. Morrison. I'll get straight to it. We've received some complaints about your wife's conduct with a colleague, Mason Garrett." I don't have to fake my surprise. "What kind of complaints?" "Several employees have reported seeing them in compromising situations. In the office, after hours. We take workplace relationships seriously, especially when they create a hostile environment for other employees." "I see. I'm telling you this because, frankly, we're considering termination. Both of them. But I wanted to give you a heads up, as a courtesy. If your wife comes home upset in the next few days, this is why." I sit back, processing this. Someone else is doing my work for me. Someone at the office has been watching, reporting, building a case. The question is, who? "Can I ask who filed the complaints?" "I can't disclose that, but I can tell you it's multiple people with documentation, photos, timestamps, witness statements. It's pretty damning. Photos, timestamps. That's not just casual observation. That's someone with a vendetta. Thank you for telling me, I say. I appreciate the courtesy. I'm sorry you're dealing with this. For what it's worth, everyone I've spoken to has good things to say about you. You fixed the break room sink last year, right? People remember that. I did fix that sink. I'd forgotten about it, just helped out when I was visiting Claire at work one day. Apparently, small kindnesses have long memories. I leave the building with more questions than answers, but one thing is clear. I'm not the only one who wants to see Claire and Mason face consequences. Someone else is playing this game, and they're playing it well. The question is whether they're playing it with me or against me. Claire comes home that night like a storm front, slamming doors, throwing her bag on the counter, pouring herself a large glass of wine before she even takes off her coat. Bad day? I ask from the couch, where I'm watching a game. They're investigating me. Me, like I'm some kind of criminal. Investigating you for what? She whirls on me, eyes blazing. They think I'm having an affair with Mason. Can you believe that? Someone's been spreading rumors, and now HR is involved, and they're talking about termination. I mute the TV and give her my full attention. Are you? Am I what? Having an affair with Mason. The silence that follows is deafening. She opens her mouth, closes it, opens it again. How can you even ask me that? It's a yes or no question, Claire. I can't believe you'd think that. After 10 years of marriage, you'd just assume... I'm not assuming anything. I'm asking a direct question. Are you having an affair with Mason Garrett? She sets down her wine glass with shaking hands. We're close. We work together. People are misinterpreting. That's not an answer. Why are you being like this? I come home upset, needing support, and you're interrogating me like I'm on trial. You are on trial, I say quietly. At work. You just told me that. I'm asking if the charges are true. She stares at me like I'm a stranger. Maybe I am. Maybe the Alex she married, the one who would have bought whatever story she sold, who would have defended her blindly, who would have been too scared of losing her to ask hard questions. Maybe that Alex doesn't exist anymore. I want you to leave, she says. This is my house, too. Then I'll leave. She grabs her bag and coat. I'll stay at Paula's. Paula's been avoiding you for 3 weeks. You think she wants a house guest? Claire freezes. How do you know Paula's been avoiding me? You told me. You said she's been too busy to meet up. I never said that. She's right. She didn't. I've made a mistake. Shown my hand too early. I can see her brain working, connecting dots she didn't know existed. You've been watching me, she says slowly. You've been following me, tracking me. What? Spying on me. I've been paying attention. There's a difference. You're insane. You're actually insane. She backs toward the door. I'm leaving. Don't contact me. Don't follow me. I'm going to get a lawyer. Good idea. You're going to need one. She leaves, and I sit in the silence of our house. My house, really, since I'm the one who's been paying the mortgage while she spent her money on new clothes and dinners with Mason. The silence should feel lonely. Instead, it feels like relief. My phone buzzes. A text from an unknown number. Nice work tonight, but you should know, Paula's not avoiding Claire. Paula's been feeding Mason information about Claire's finances and schedule. Thought you'd want to know. A friend. I stare at the message. Paula. Claire's best friend since college. The one who was at our wedding. Who Claire trusts with everything. I text back. Who is this? No response. The next morning I'm at my first job, fixing a furnace in a rental property, when Jules calls. You need to come to the gym, now. I'm working. This can't wait. Trust me. I finish the furnace repair, apologize to the landlord, and drive to the gym. Jules is waiting in his office, and he's not alone. There's a woman with him, mid-30s, professional clothes, the kind of alert eyes that say cop or lawyer. Alex, this is Detective Sarah Brennan. She's a friend. She's also investigating Mason Garrett. I sit down slowly. For what? Fraud, Brennan says. He's been running a scheme through his company. Fake clients, inflated expenses, kickbacks. We've been building a case for 6 months. Your wife's name has come up in connection with some of the fraudulent accounts. The room tilts. Claire's involved in fraud? We don't know yet. She might be a knowing participant, or she might be a dupe. Mason has a pattern. He targets women at his company, starts affairs, uses them to create cover for his schemes. We've tracked 3 other women in the last 5 years, all at different companies he's worked for. So Claire's not special. She's just the current mark. Brennan's expression softens slightly. I'm sorry. I know that's not easy to hear. But you should also know that Paula Martinez, your wife's friend, came to us 2 months ago. She's been feeding us information about Mason and your wife's activities. Why would Paula do that? Because Mason was sleeping with her too, until he dropped her for your wife. She's angry and she's smart, and she wants him to pay. Suddenly everything clicks into place. The mysterious complaints to HR, the photos and documentation, the text from a friend. It's all Paula, running her own revenge operation parallel to mine. What do you need from me? I ask. Access to your wife's computer, if possible. Her files, emails, anything that might show whether she knew about Mason's fraud. And if she did know? Then she's an accomplice. She'll face charges. I think about Claire, the woman I married, who used to laugh at my jokes and fall asleep on my shoulder during movies. The woman who somewhere along the way decided I wasn't enough, that she needed more, better, different. The woman who's been lying to my face for 3 months while building a life with a con artist. I'll get you what you need, I say. Getting into Claire's laptop is easier than it should be. She's staying at a hotel, not Paula's apparently, since that bridge is thoroughly burned, and she came by the house while I was at work to grab some clothes. She didn't take her laptop. Probably didn't think she'd need it, or didn't think I'd dare look. Her password is Mason 2024. Of course it is. What I find makes me sick. Emails about fake client accounts, spreadsheets showing inflated expenses, and messages between Claire and Mason discussing how they'll use the money for trips, for a future together, for the life they're planning once they're both free. She knew. She was an active participant. My wife isn't just a cheater, she's a criminal. I copy everything to a flash drive and call Detective Brennan. She comes to the house with a warrant. They've been waiting for enough evidence to move, and takes the laptop. She's professional, sympathetic, but firm. This is enough, she says. We'll be making arrests within 48 hours. You should prepare yourself. This is going to get ugly. It's already ugly. It's going to get uglier. She's not wrong. The arrests happen on a Thursday. I know because Paula texts me. We've been in contact since I found out about her role in all this. Turns out we have a common enemy and a shared sense of betrayal. It's not friendship exactly, but it's something. They just arrested him at the office. Perp walk and everything. It's glorious. And Claire? Picked up at her hotel an hour ago. I wish I could have seen her face. I should feel triumphant. Instead, I feel hollow. This isn't how I imagined my marriage ending, with fraud charges and arrests and lawyers. I thought we'd grow old together. I thought we'd be the couple that made it. I was wrong about a lot of things. The fallout is spectacular. The local news picks up the story. PR executives arrested in multi-million-dollar fraud scheme. Mason's face is on the evening broadcast, looking appropriately shocked and outraged. Claire's mugshot appears online, and I have to resist the urge to look at it more than once. My phone starts ringing. Friends I haven't heard from in years, family members with questions, reporters asking for comments. I ignore most of them, but when Claire's mother calls, I answer. Alex, what's happening? Claire called me from jail, crying, saying she's been arrested. She says it's all a misunderstanding. It's not a misunderstanding, Margaret. She's been having an affair with a coworker and helping him commit fraud. The police have evidence. Silence. Then, I don't believe that. Claire wouldn't. She did. I have proof. I gave it to the police. You did what? Her voice rises. You turned in your own wife? She stopped being my wife when she decided to betray me and break the law. I'm sorry, Margaret. I know this is hard. But Claire made her choices. She hangs up on me. I don't blame her. If someone told me my daughter was a criminal, I'd probably react the same way. 2 days later, I get a visitor. Mason Garrett, out on bail, looking significantly less polished than the last time I saw him. His expensive suit is wrinkled, his hair uncombed, and there's a desperation in his eyes that might be funny if this whole situation wasn't so tragic. He corners me at a job site, a kitchen renovation in a subdivision. I'm installing a new sink when I look up and see him standing in the doorway. We need to talk, he says. No, we don't. I go back to the sink. This is all a misunderstanding. I never meant for Claire to get involved. You never meant to get caught, but you did, and now you're both facing federal charges. There's nothing to talk about. You could help us. You could tell the police that Claire didn't know anything, that I manipulated her. I stand up, wrench still in my hand. I'm not a violent person, but the weight of the tool in my grip is satisfying. Let me make something very clear. I'm not helping you. I'm not helping her. You two destroyed my life for your own entertainment and profit. Now you get to face the consequences. She loves me, you know. She never loved you. She told me that. It's meant to hurt, and it does. But not in the way he expects. It hurts like removing a splinter. Painful, but ultimately a relief. Then you two deserve each other. Now get out before I call the cops and add harassment to your charges. He leaves, and I finish installing the sink. My hands are steady. My mind is clear. Whatever Claire and Mason meant to each other, whatever love or lust or mutual delusion they shared, it's not my problem anymore. The trial takes 8 months to get to court. 8 months of lawyers and depositions and evidence review. 8 months of my life dissected by strangers trying to determine what I knew and when I knew it. 8 months of being the husband in a scandal that makes local headlines and water cooler gossip across the city. I'm cleared of any involvement pretty quickly. It's obvious I was as much a victim as anyone. But Claire and Mason aren't so lucky. The prosecution has emails, financial records, witness testimony from Paula and others at the firm. It's an airtight case. Mason takes a plea deal, 7 years in federal prison in exchange for testimony against Claire and returning what money he can. Turns out he's not so loyal when facing serious time. Claire fights it, insists she was manipulated, that she didn't understand what she was doing, that Mason took advantage of her. Her lawyer paints her as a naive woman seduced by a con artist. It might have worked if not for those emails, the ones where she explicitly discusses the fraud, where she plans their future with the stolen money, where she laughs about how easy it all is. The jury deliberates for 6 hours. Guilty on all counts. She gets 5 years. I'm at the gym when the verdict comes down, working the heavy bag like it owes me money. Jules stands nearby, holding the bag steady, not saying anything. He doesn't need to. We both know what this means. How do you feel? He finally asks. I don't know. Empty, maybe? Like I should feel something more. But I just don't. That's normal. You've been processing this for months. By the time the verdict came, you'd already moved on emotionally. Have I? Moved on? You tell me. Are you still angry? I think about it, really think about it. Am I angry? At Claire for betraying me? At Mason for being a con artist? At myself for not seeing it sooner? No, I realize. I'm not angry. I'm just done. Then you've moved on. The divorce is finalized 3 months later. Claire tries to fight for half of everything from prison, but her lawyer eventually convinces her it's a losing battle. She's a convicted felon serving time for fraud. No judge is going to give her half of a house she helped pay for with stolen money. I keep the house, the truck, and my business. She keeps her legal bills and her prison sentence. It's not exactly an equal split, but then again, neither was our marriage. Paula and I meet for coffee one afternoon, 6 months after everything is settled. She looks different, lighter somehow, like she's shed a weight she didn't know she was carrying. "How are you doing?" she asks. "Better. You?" "Better too. I got a new job. Different firm, better pay, no criminals." She smiles. "Thank you, by the way." "For what?" "For not hating me." I know I was part of the problem. I introduced Claire to Mason. I didn't say anything when I should have. I was so focused on my own revenge that I didn't think about how it would affect you. You gave the police evidence that put criminals in prison. You did the right thing, even if your motivations were personal. We both did, I guess. You could have looked the other way. A lot of spouses would have. I'm not a lot of spouses. No, she agrees. You're definitely not. We talk for another hour about her new job, my growing business, the weird limbo of moving on from trauma. It's not romantic. It's not even really friendship yet. But it's human connection, and after everything, that feels important. A year after the arrest, I'm renovating the garage, finally painting it, finally finishing what I started back when I thought my marriage was solid. I'm rolling primer over the walls when my phone rings, unknown number. I almost don't answer, but curiosity wins. "Hello? Alex?" It's Claire's voice, thin and distant. "I'm using my phone time. I wanted to talk to you." I set down the roller. "What do you want, Claire?" "I wanted to say I'm sorry. For everything. For the affair, for the fraud, for dragging you into this mess. You didn't deserve any of it." I wait for the anger, the bitterness, the satisfaction of hearing her apologize. Nothing comes. Just that same hollow feeling, like looking at a photograph of someone you used to know. "Okay," I say. "That's it? Just okay? What do you want me to say? That I forgive you? That it's all water under the bridge? I can't do that, Claire. You made choices that destroyed our marriage and landed you in prison. Those choices have consequences." "I know. I just thought... I don't know what I thought. That maybe you'd understand." "I understand perfectly. You wanted something I couldn't give you. You found someone who promised you more. You broke the law to get it. And now you're paying the price. It's not complicated." Silence on the line. Then, quietly, "Do you ever miss me? Miss us?" "I miss who I thought you were. But that person was never real. So no, I don't miss you. I miss the illusion." "That's cruel. That's honest. You wanted honesty? There it is." She's crying now. Soft sounds that might have moved me once. Now they just make me tired. "I have to go," I say. "I'm painting the garage, finally picking a color." "What color?" "Blue. Navy blue. I decided on my own." I hang up before she can respond. 2 years after the arrests, my life looks nothing like it did. Morrison Repairs has expanded. I hired 2 employees, bought a second truck, and I'm booking jobs 3 weeks out. The house is fully renovated, every room finished, every project completed. It's mine now, fully and completely, with no ghosts of failed marriage haunting the corners. I'm at a job site, a complete bathroom overhaul in a historic home, when I meet Jennifer. She's the homeowner's daughter, stopping by to check on the progress. She's a teacher, divorced, funny in a self-deprecating way that feels genuine. We talk while I'm installing a vanity, and she makes me laugh for the first time in months. "You're good at this," she says, watching me work. 15 years of practice. "I meant the talking. You're easy to talk to. Most contractors just grunt and point." "I contain multitudes." She laughs. "That's a Walt Whitman reference, a contractor who quotes poetry. I'm impressed." "I'm full of surprises." We exchange numbers. She texts me that night. "Thanks for not making me feel stupid for asking a million questions about grout." I text back, Grout is important. Anyone who says otherwise is lying. It's not love. Not yet. Maybe not ever. But it's possibility, and that's something I haven't felt in a long time. Jules notices the change in me at the gym. You're different lately. Less angry. More like your old self. I met someone. Maybe. It's early. Good for you. You deserve it. Do I? Sometimes I wonder if I did something to deserve what Claire did. If I was a bad husband. If I wasn't enough. Stop! Jules cuts me off. That's trauma talking. Claire's choices were her own. You were a good husband to a bad wife. That's not your fault. I just keep thinking about what I could have done differently. You could have been psychic. That's about it. You can't prevent someone from betraying you if they're determined to do it. All you can control is how you respond. How'd I do? You survived. You didn't become bitter or cruel. You held people accountable without destroying yourself in the process. I'd say you did pretty damn well. Claire gets out on parole after 3 years. I know because her mother calls to tell me, her voice careful and distant. She's staying with us for a while, getting back on her feet. I thought you should know, in case you run into her. Thanks for the heads up. Alex? She's different now. Prison changed her. She's sorry for what she did. I'm sure she is, but that doesn't change what happened. No, it doesn't. But maybe someday you can find it in your heart to forgive her. Maybe, I say, though I doubt it. Take care, Margaret. I don't hear from Claire directly. She doesn't call, doesn't text, doesn't try to meet up. I'm grateful for that. Whatever closure she needs, she'll have to find it on her own. 3 months after Claire's release, I'm having dinner with Jennifer at a nice restaurant downtown. We've been dating for 6 months now, taking it slow, learning each other's rhythms. She knows about Claire, about the fraud, about the divorce. She's patient with my occasional guardedness, understanding when I need space. We're laughing about something, I don't even remember what, when I see them. Claire and Mason at a table across the restaurant, together. Jennifer notices my expression. What's wrong? My ex-wife is here, with him, with Mason. The guy she went to prison with? Yeah. Jennifer looks over, subtle, then back at me. They're together again? Apparently. It should hurt. It should enrage me. Instead, I feel nothing but a distant pity. They went to prison together, destroyed their lives together, and now they're back together like none of it mattered. Like they learned nothing. Claire sees me. Our eyes meet across the restaurant. She looks older, harder, like prison left marks that go deeper than skin. Mason looks the same, smug, entitled, like the world owes him something. I raise my glass in a mock toast. Claire's face crumples and she looks away. Do you want to leave? Jennifer asks. No. They don't get to chase me out of a restaurant. They don't get to affect my life anymore. We stay. We finish our meal. We laugh and talk and exist in a space that has nothing to do with my past. And when we leave, walking past their table, I don't even glance over. I'm invisible to them now. But this time, it's by choice. 5 years after everything fell apart, I'm standing in my garage, the one I painted navy blue, working on a motorcycle. It's a restoration project, something I'm doing just for fun, just because I can. The radio is playing classic rock. The air smells like oil and metal and possibility. Jennifer comes out with 2 beers, hands me one. We've been married for 6 months, together for 3 years. She's nothing like Claire. She's direct, where Claire was manipulative, honest, where Claire was deceptive, present, where Claire was always looking for the next best thing. How's it coming? She asks, looking at the motorcycle. Slow, but good. I'm not in a hurry. That's new for you? What is? Not being in a hurry. When we met, you were always rushing, always working, always moving. Like if you stopped, you'd have to think about things you didn't want to think about. She's right. For years after the divorce, I filled every moment with work, with projects, with anything that kept my mind occupied. But somewhere along the way, I learned to be still, to sit with my thoughts, To accept that what happened, happened, and it doesn't define me. I'm different now, I say. Better? Just different. More myself, maybe. She kisses my cheek, grease and all. I like this version of you. Yeah? Yeah. You're the only real thing in my life. The words echo, the same words Mason used in that text, the words that started everything. But coming from Jennifer, they mean something completely different. They mean trust. They mean presence. They mean two people who chose each other and keep choosing each other every day. You're my real thing too, I say. We stand in the garage, drinking our beers, while the sun sets through the open door. The neighborhood is quiet. The world is still. And for the first time in years, I'm not invisible. I'm exactly where I'm supposed to be. I never saw Claire again after that night in the restaurant. I heard through the grapevine that she and Mason broke up 6 months later. Apparently, shared trauma isn't a great foundation for a relationship. She moved to another state, started over somewhere no one knew her story. I hope she found peace. I hope she learned something. But mostly, I just don't think about her anymore. Paula and I stayed friends. She met someone too, a good guy, an accountant, someone stable and kind. We have dinner sometimes, the four of us, and laugh about how we survived the worst year of our lives. Jules retired from the gym but still calls every week to check in. He says I'm his success story, proof that good people can survive bad situations and come out stronger. Mason violated his parole and went back to prison. I didn't feel satisfaction when I heard. Just a distant sense of inevitability, like watching a train you knew was going to crash. And me? I'm Alex Morrison. I fix things for a living. I ride my motorcycle on weekends. I'm married to a woman who makes me laugh and never makes me guess where I stand. I own a successful business and a house I'm proud of. I'm not the invisible man anymore. I'm just a man. And that's enough.